Alright everyone, welcome to this video. I'm going to highlight a little bit of my push workout here and give some updates on the progress. But this is mainly going to be about the New York Pro, the 2019 New York Pro coming up tomorrow. So I want to get this video up, so I'm filming this in the morning just to cover the athletes and a little bit about the show. So I'll either put the workout at the end and put timestamps in here so you guys can see them, or I will just interlace some of my clips of the workout and give you guys some weight updates and then maybe give you my thoughts at the end of the video. But either way, we're about to cover some bodybuilding now, so stay tuned. So the reason the 2019 New York Pro is an interesting show is mainly because of the history of the New York Pro. So if any of you have heard of the Night of Champions, you'll have heard of a big show that was basically the third biggest show in the United States at the time, following the Olympia and the Arnold Classic. So the New York Pro is great because it gets a lot of interest on social media, on YouTube, and even locally. New York is definitely a show where you always hear the crowd involved, and a lot of the competitors talk about how it's fun because you get an old school vibe. Probably because of the Night of Champions, how that's like stayed as kind of an important show. Definitely because the people in New York, a lot of people from the Northeast will compete there, a lot of loud fans. New York City's got that definitely a kind of loud and whatever vibe when you visit it and when you're following sports teams and stuff like that. I have a sister who lives there, so New York's definitely fun, and if the crowd gets involved, which they always do, it definitely makes the bodybuilders have more fun, and it's more fun to watch. Because it's definitely very boring when you see that the crowd is not involved and basically doesn't know a lot about bodybuilding, because bodybuilding needs to be supported by the fans or else it's just completely off the grid. So another reason the New York Pro is so popular is because of the Bev Francis Powerhouse Gym. Now this is also known as the East Coast Mecca, obviously in contrast with the West Coast Mecca, the Venice Beach Gold's Gym. And Bev Francis is I believe a former Miss Olympia. I'll look that up and make a note here, at least competitor. And Steve Weinberger is an IFBB judge. And these two are very popular and known and respected in the community, almost like Jim Mannion would be, in a sense that there's really no one that is higher up and whose opinion and experience is really more valuable than that. So very big gym, and a lot of the athletes that train from there have good records at the Olympia and are also very popular on social media and really respected. Juliana Malacarni was a Miss Olympia. Arash Rabar has been high up in the Olympia. John De La Rosa, Max Charles, Sadiq Hadzovic. There are a lot of bodybuilders, Kevin English, that have come out of there and who kind of keep that gym alive, and always competitors are visiting for posing before the shows. If you've been catching on Instagram, lots of people have been in the show, or been in Bev Francis posing for Steve. So with that said, let's get into the competitors at the 2019 New York Pro. Alright, so we're going to quickly go through the competitor list for the open bodybuilding, which is mainly what we're going to talk about, and we'll see who stands out and go over those bodybuilders. Alright, so for open bodybuilding, and pardon me if I butcher some of these names, we have Tim Budesheim, Mark Detrucchi, Chris DiDomenico, Camilo Garzone, James Hollingshead, Andrew Hudson, Joseph Mackey, Justin Mackey, Juan Morel, Derek Morgan, Jojo Nitifero, Yassin Kaderi, Cesar Estella, Justin Luis Rodriguez, Milan Sadiq, Robin Strand, Josh Wade, Akeem Williams, and Quincy Winkler. So very unique, or very diverse lineup, I would say. We've got a couple top guys, a couple rookies, a couple guys that are kind of long-standing but grinders, and let's cover some of those guys right now, because this is going to be an interesting, very, very interesting top six. All right, so I'm going to introduce who I think the most interesting 5 guys are, and then we're going to talk about where they land in the placings. Most of them are going to be in the top 5, but there's a couple bodybuilders here that I think are worth mentioning, not just based on their placings. So Juan Morel, Akeem Williams, James Hollingshead, Josh Wade, and Robin Strand. So we'll start from the top and we'll talk about where they're gonna place. So Big Juan Morel, AKA Juan Diesel, AKA Now It's a Party, AKA the man of the most epic bodybuilding cheat days on YouTube. Almost an OG, but I may have to take some credit for that myself. Anyways, you also recall in 2018, it was Nathan Diasha, Juan Morel, and Justin Luis Rodriguez, top 3. So Juan Morel may be the most infamous and famous bodybuilder in this lineup for 2019. Juan Morel gets second last year. He won the New York Pro in 2015, and he is also the current champion of the 2019 Arnold Classic South America. And as a front runner, as a current champ of the most recent Arnold Classic, I'm thinking Juan Morel is going to come in and take that second first place New York Pro title from 2015 to 2019, and his legs are going to look good, massive. Up next on the list, we have Akeem Williams, who recently had a pretty good showing. Second place at the Big Man Weekend Pro. Akeem is one of the strongest bodybuilders in the circuit right now. He just has one of those bodies where when he gets on stage, it doesn't really translate into what you see in the gym. So he's got all the muscle, all the strength, but his structure is just something that on a stage definitely limits his, his wow factor, and doesn't really showcase his muscle very well. Akeem has yet to come in perfect. A lot of people say he did have a good showing. I think the Muscle Mayhem Pro and the Toronto Pro in 2018, but he's never dialed it in, him and his trainer, Oscar Arden. Oscar used to train Kai Green back in the, we'll call it the early 2010s. So right around the time when Kai was winning the Arnold Classic, placing well at the Olympia, he was working with Oscar, and now Oscar's taken over Akeem for the past year and a half or two, and they have been making great moves and getting lots of top 3 finishes. So good luck, Akeem. Let's see if those legs are enough to stop Juan from getting that first place spot, because I see Akeem sliding into second for sure. The third bodybuilder is going to be James Hollingshead. So he is definitely not someone with a big track record, but he is new to the scene and has some insane looking muscle. So I think he'll be in the top 6, but I just want to kind of highlight what this guy's done and some of the condition that he's bringing in. He's being coached by Phil Viz out in New York, who's a top level NPC competitor and actually a really good coach from what I hear. And they've been working together, I guess, the better part of the year, if not longer. I think longer, and the transformation James has undergone is very, very impressive. So whether he has a breakout show at the New York Pro in 2019 or not, by 2020 he will be smashing it on the scene. And I think we're going to see a really, really good showing from this guy, because he's already peeled. It looks ridiculous. The next bodybuilder is someone else I want to highlight, Josh Wade, and where I think James might be in the top 6, I think Josh is going to be in the top 4. So I'm looking at 3rd or 4th place for him. And Josh Wade is one of those guys with, I would say, above average genetics for building muscle, but just about average genetics as far as insertions goes. So Josh Wade is an interesting bodybuilder to watch because he's older, isn't that necessarily genetically gifted. So to see him make progress, get leaner every year, maintain more muscle every year is extremely impressive. And as you guys age, you'll definitely grow an appreciation for guys like Josh Wade, who is actually coached by another older IFBB pro, older than him, John Meadows. So Josh Wade's bringing that hardcore, really grinder style training and dieting. And if you guys know anything about John Meadows, no one fits the bill more than him. And to see him and Josh team up is going to be really great. Josh did get 4th place at the New York Pro last year, so I'm calling it again this year. If he can improve on that, that'd be great for him. But anyone to get top 4 at the New York Pro is one of the best bodybuilders on the planet. So if someone like Josh can become one of the best bodybuilders on the planet, I'll be watching, and I'll definitely be gunning for him to be in that top 4. My top 10 pick of the show is going to be Robin Strand. So I first saw Robin Strand on YouTube in, I'd say, 2009, possibly 2011 at the latest. And Robin Strand is another great bodybuilder out of Canada, much like Regan Grimes, Dorian Hamilton, Antoine Vaillant, the new 212 guy, Zane Watson. And Robin Strand is right along those guys in his mid-20s, coming in bigger and freakier every year. He was a natural bodybuilder as a teen, and watched him year by year put on 5, 10, 15 pounds of muscle. And then at age 19 or 20, he continued to put on 5 to 10 pounds of muscle a year. And I don't think he claimed natural anymore after being a teen, but this guy was able to build muscle, compete, win shows as a natural bodybuilder. And when someone like that with that type of discipline and respect for themselves and their health, when someone like that takes it to the next level, it's just a matter of time before they start really turning heads. So I'm calling it right now. Robin Strand will be in the top 10. I think he will be, hopefully, on YouTube a lot. So maybe he'll be on an interview with RX Muscle. Hopefully Nick Strength and Power can do a video on him. But yeah, Robin Strand is a great guy. If you follow him on Instagram, he just, and at his YouTube channel, he just kind of is really inspiring and seems like a really good person. And he's bodybuilding and doing what he loves. And his girlfriend or fiance, possibly wife, her gains are also just next level. So they're an interesting team. And I just like to see interesting people in the top 6. Hopefully he'll be there soon. This might be a top 10 for him though. So it should be interesting to see him, Antoine, Regan, all these guys, maybe Cody Montgomery, come back to that open bodybuilding and bring in a new generation. But for now, we've got the older guys, the veterans, Juan Morel, Josh Wade, Akeem Williams, and I guess another notable will be Justin Luis Rodriguez. He'll be in that top 6, getting placings from these guys too. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. New York Pro tomorrow. I'll put the times here. And yeah, peace. Deuces. Alright guys, so chilling here at Armbrust, just racked that 205, or was it 195? It was 195, so getting back to the group of training right now. Not too busy here today, but definitely got on the bench I like, and 195 pounds felt good, so let's do 205 pounds for the 3rd time, basically this year on the flat bench. So let's see how 205 goes, and see how 225 is looking as well, because that was the PR last time, so let's keep benching. I'm definitely sad to report that 225 has never felt so heavy. So we're gonna keep working with 225. It sucks to bench into the sunlight. It's like glaring me and confusing me on where to look. But we're gonna hit this again. I'll show you guys the rest of the sets. Hard work though. Sure.